Hi everybody. So last Sunday, a few of you were missing in the orchestra in the Vivaldi orchestra. So I am just making this short video for you guys, for all of you, to remind you about the things that we talked about last time and things that we should be prepared to bring with us this time. So if you remember, we have been doing a lot of challenges recently. Last week, we worked more on the challenge, which was about hand frame. So we talked about that when we put our hand around the fingerboard, we want to make sure that our hand is like a pot and then our fingers are planted in the pot. When we move our fingers, we're going to move them from the knuckles, not from our wrist or our hand or our thumb. A lot of you guys, when you play, you have this posture, so your fingers go like that. That's a very bad posture because it kind of disables you to play faster passages and to have a good intonation. So our challenge was the finger number. If you remember, it was open to 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 1. Okay, so you see when I play 4, I'm not bending my wrist, right? I keep my wrist here and I use my knuckle and my elbow to stretch and reach to the note, right? So this is what we're working on. And then if you have to cross, you have to take your hand in the same shape and then cross it. So you cross with your whole arm, not with your wrist and not with your fingers. Always remember your first finger has to be in a hooked form. So if you make like a little V like this and put the violin inside the V like a hanger, okay? So this always will be your hand position, your hand frame. And then pinky will always reach out in a round form as well, because fingers are the strongest when we play with the tip of them and we have enough space between the fingers and the fingerboard. All right, the second challenge which belonged to the week before, was our violin holds, right? We wanted to make sure when we hold the violin, we are at a 90-degree angle with the ground, and then our hand goes around the violin, right? I see a lot of you guys are like this. Just remember, this is a very unreliable position. It won't allow you to have a powerful tone, okay? And the next thing, many of students, they have a bent shoulder, so they're like this, right? So when you do that, actually you will not be using your back muscles, and when you don't use your back muscles, your performance becomes very weak, like this. But if you actually push your shoulders back like this, straight, so you will be using the back muscles, and then your sound is so much more powerful. Okay, so you see my frame is quite square. Okay, it's not like bent like that. Then the challenge number 3 was the bow hold. The bow hold that a lot of us are still struggling with. We want to make sure when the bow is in the air and before it's landing, it's our pinky that holds the bow. See, I kind of wave the bow in the air with my pinky and my bent thumb, right? So you practice this hold. Before you start, you always go around, you pick the bow up, and then you land, okay? So the other challenge was your bow hold and the flexibility that you have to have between the bow and your fingers. So the fingers don't strangle the bow. They hold the bow in a way that the bow can breathe. And if a person kind of pulls the bow out of your hand, you should hold the bow that smooth, basically. Make sure your knuckles are not sticking out like this. Make sure your knuckles are always pushed inward like this. And then the last challenge was when the bow lands on the string, we want the elbow to wrist to move rather than the shoulder. So watch this. Okay, but a lot of students, they use their shoulder to pull the bow. So you see, this is what they do. What I want you guys to do is like, you keep a 90-degree here, and then you open, close, open. Okay, so I have a very solid back and a solid shoulder and upper arm. My upper arm moves me to the strings, and my lower arm plays the bow strokes. It just makes the strokes like this. All right, so these are the 4 challenges that we talked about. And as you saw, I brought this to the orchestra. There are 4 items here. So each of you guys, if you get all these 4 challenges nicely done in the upcoming week, you're gonna get 4 items. All right, so I'll bring them to you next week. So practice well. I like to see your the finger exercise that we did with your bow hold applied, with your violin hold applied. Make sure that you're not grabbing the fingerboard. Make sure there's a lot of space between your arm and the violin, and you can swing easily like that. Okay guys, all the best. See you on Sunday.